Hi, welcome back. Thank you for joining us on 70 Yards Tiny Farm and More. And today we're going to be going around and feeding our fruit trees on our mini orchard, I guess. I've already fed some of them, the stone fruits. I did that a few weeks ago because they were starting to bloom. But this is our mulberry tree. It's a Pakistani, and it is waking up. So we're going to go ahead and feed this with this granular food. I got this already pre-mixed from Green Life Nursery, and so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go around and feed some of our more tropical kind of fruit trees, which would be the Pakistani mulberry, the Barbados cherry, the figs, the ice cream bean, and the moringa tree. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull some of the mulch back, and I'm going to put feed around the tree. You can see this mulberry is already starting to get some fruit right there. It's got a lot of fruit started on it already. Sure didn't take long. I just noticed it budding out at the beginning of the week. One problem I have with the fruit is that the ants want to eat it. The ants, as soon as the fruit starts ripening up, the ants climb up and they just attack it and they just demolish it. If anybody has any suggestions, please leave that in the comments of how to keep the ants off the mulberry fruit. We don't really get any very much. We get a few little mulberries off there. Last year we got a few, and then the ants got the rest, so I'm not sure what to do. I've tried diatomaceous earth around the bottom of it. I've tried cayenne pepper, I've tried cinnamon, and so far nothing works to keep the ants off of the mulberry fruits. So I'm putting some water on this now to kind of soak in the food, and then we're going to put another good bit of mulch on top of that to help keep the ground moist and so that it doesn't dry out too quickly. Okay, this is our brown turkey fig. It's next in line to get some granular food. Need to get some of those weeds out of there and put some more mulch on it. You can see it's starting to bud out really nicely. So, looking good. Waking up. And the trunk, like I said, the rabbits chew on everything. So what I do is I just take some old feed bags or something, the chicken feed bags that are empty, or looks like these bags were some empty worm casting bags. And I just put them around the trunk so the rabbits don't eat it, because I was running out of wire, the wire mesh. So that was my solution. Okay, so next are the two red pear trees, which are right here and right here. They're two red pears, and I already fed them a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. But if you can see, I'll try to zoom in on it, the protecting, I can't really, well, maybe on that one I can. The protective, when I bought them, they had this vinyl, I don't know, sheet on it that just had the name of the tree. And after a couple years, the sun does a job on it, so I just need to replace that, and then put some more wood chips around them, and then we'll be good. Okay, so next we have our Barbados cherry. This thing is quite unruly. So what I'm going to do is trim it all back and take the wire mesh hardware cloth out from around it, because I'm going to put that up. I don't know if you can see all around our little orange tree there, because the rabbits keep eating branches on that little orange tree. But what I'm going to do with this one, so the rabbits don't eat it, is I'm going to cut the branches up from the ground a little bit so I can put some of the feed bag around the trunk, because I need that hardware cloth. So I think this one's big enough to where I can take the hardware cloth off of it, because also the branches are starting to grow through there. It's just doing a little bit of damage to the tree now, so I got to get the hardware cloth off. It looks good after we gave it a little haircut and fed it, mulched it, put a wrap around the trunk. This is our second little Barbados cherry tree. It's looking pretty sad. Winter was not very nice to it. Didn't treat it very well. So we're going to trim this up. We're going to feed it, and we're going to put some mulch around it. I already cleared the weeds from around it, and then hopefully we can get it to fill out and give us some fruit this summer. This is what the Barbados cherry looks like after it's pruning. Looks better after it's pruning and feeding and mulching. Looks good. Hopefully it will to produce a lot of fruit, and it'll fill out some, give us a little privacy around the pool area. That was the plan anyways. Our bonanza peach tree, so it's a dwarf. It's doing super good. It's blooming right now. I'm so excited about that. It's just beautiful. What we're gonna do with this, I already fed this one a couple of weeks ago when I fed the pears. So we're just going to put some mulch around it, get the weeds out from around it in the peach tree, and weeded it, got all the weeds out of it. That looks really good. Then we have our passion fruit vine, which got a little frostbite. Not looking too good. So I'm gonna cut that back and see how it's doing in there. Pull that back. I had to put some plastic tubing around the trunk because the rabbits kept eating it, and I think that, I don't know, I haven't seen it, but I think there's like a little caterpillar or something that's eating the branches. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they're all over. So gosh, if anybody knows about that, please comment below. I'd like to know. I'm going to trim it back pretty far because let's give it a chance to come back a little fuller. See what I mean by something eating this? Look at the ends of it. They've been eaten off. I don't know what is going on with it. See this one too? Right there. See if I can grab that one. End of it's been eaten off. Something's eating the leaves too. Obviously you can tell. Something's chowing down, but I haven't ever seen anything on this when I've come out. And I've come out at all hours of the day to try and find what it is that's eating this thing. I've tried spraying it, but I don't know what it is. We're just gonna finish trimming this up and then we'll move on to the next tree. Okay, so I fixed up the berm in here. You really don't know how well you can see it, and I put, you can maybe see it a little bit better that way, but put some more mulch in there. And then we have our ice cream bean plant. And so what I did with this was similar to what I did with the moringa tree. I put a bunch of mulch in there to help keep the trunk warm and protect it from the cold. The frost cloth on this was in as bad a shape as the frost cloth around the moringa tree, and so I already disposed of it. But it's not doing too bad. It's got some new growth on it. We'll feed this one. We'll disperse some of the mulch out and spread it around a little bit. And I already got all the weeds out from around the tree. And you can see there's a big empty spot on this trunk. So these trees can withstand a pretty heavy pruning. So we're going to cut that main trunk down. We have our little strawberry jam fig that's aggravating me, is not growing. I'm going to give it another year. Every spring I say to myself, if it doesn't grow this summer, I'm going to dig it out. But I just don't have it in me to do that. We've had it for about 3 years now. Just don't know about this little thing. I have wanted to dig it up just out of spite because it's not growing. You know, when I bought it, I didn't really want one this small, but that's all they had, and I really wanted one. And the guy at the nursery told me that it would bear fruit that same year, and obviously it has not. And I've read up on it, and everything I've read said that they grow fast and they're drought tolerant and tolerant to the wind and that kind of thing. So I just don't know what is wrong with this little fig tree. But if anybody knows, I've fed it the granular feed. I give it fish emulsion. I foliar feed it during the summer months. I just don't know what to do with this little fig tree. But I've been trying to be patient because I've heard that if you don't see growth above the ground, that means that it's growing down below the ground and the root system is getting established. So I've been trying to be patient with it, but like I said, it's like 3 years now, so I'm just getting really frustrated with it. So if anybody knows how to make this thing grow faster and bear some fruit, please let me know in the comments. There's our little orange tree that we planted also in the fall when we planted the apium. And the rabbits were eating the branches on it, so I had to put the wire around it. But I put more mulch around it. I already fed that a couple of weeks ago. This is our apium tree. And it is starting to wake up as well. Look at all the little buds on this thing. That is exciting. Look at it, it's already got some sprouts on it. Cool. Oh, it's got a flower. I didn't even see that. Awesome. We just planted this. Oh gosh, when did we plant it? September? And it's March now, so we planted it in the fall. Man, it's doing good. Look at all the buds. That's so exciting. Right, so we're gonna get all the weeds out from around this tree. And we're gonna feed it and put some more mulch, wood chips around it. And that'll be it. All right, well you can see that this seed bag didn't last very long. We just planted this in the fall and it's already deteriorating. So we're going to go ahead and replace that, put a new protection over the trunk to keep the rabbits from eating it. So we'll do that right now. So on this tree we put a different fertilizer than the other granules that we had on the more tropical fruit trees. We used the stone fruit fertilizer. It's a 19-10-5, and it's for fruit, citrus, and pecan trees. We planted this here to try to, once it gets big enough, give us some shade on the south side of this corral. So that was our plan. Okay, this is our poor moringa tree. This poor little tree has been brought back to life so many times. When it was tiny, had something chewing on it. I'm assuming a rabbit chewed it down to like a nub. Hence all of the wire I had to put around it. And I don't know, it's just been through a lot. I've had to do that to it a couple of times. We tried to protect it. They don't like the cold, so we tried to protect it from the cold. This is what's left of the frost cloth. Not only did we have a lot of rain, but we had a lot of wind this winter too, so the wind just tore apart this frost cloth. And also I put a lot of mulch around the trunk, trying to keep the trunk of it warm. But then with all of the rain we had over the winter, it got too wet down there, and so I had to kind of move some of the mulch away from the trunk to let it kind of air out a little bit. So we're just going to take this frost cloth off, kind of rearrange the mulch a little bit, spread it out some. We're going to cut this down, and hopefully it'll grow back. It's green at the bottom, green towards the bottom, so I'm just going to cut off the dead stuff, and then it should grow back. It's grown back from almost nothing before, so we should be okay. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just kind of scratching just a tiny bit of the bark off to see if it's green underneath, and then we'll cut it where it's not green anymore. So right about in there, we'll cut it right above this node right here. And then it's nice and green inside there. I'll get a close-up of that in a few minutes. I don't know if you can see or not, but how well that shows on camera, but that is green inside there. So hopefully that will come back. It's come back from worse than this, so strong little tree. Thinking that the roots are going deep, keeping it strong. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted on this. We planted this one also on the south side of the chicken coop to try and give us some shade for the chickens. But I just can't get this thing to get big enough. Hopefully this summer. They do grow pretty fast, I must say. That's one good thing about them. So hopefully it grows. See, you can see something was something was chewing on the trunk there. I don't know what it was, but this poor little tree has been through a lot. The thing's chewing on it, little critters chewing on it. It's been down to a little tiny nub and come back. So I'm sure it'll come back. I did also plant this I transplanted it actually, is a mesquite tree that was growing wild. And I really usually don't like those because they have really gnarly thorns on them. And so I usually just pull them out and throw them away, but I didn't really want to spend money on another tree that's not going to produce any fruit or anything. And so I planted it here on the west side of the chicken coop because it gets so hot in the summer. And as you can see, they get pretty big. This mesquite tree right here was just a tiny little tree when we moved into this house 8 years ago. That's how big it is. And we severely trimmed it. Like we were aggressively trimmed it this last fall. They get really bushy. They provide a lot of shade. They're really good shade trees. So I transplanted this little mesquite that I saw growing on the other side of the property. And I actually transplanted another one, and then the rabbits chewed it. They didn't bother it at all when it was over on the other side of the property, but as soon as I transplanted it back here, of course they had to chew it all down. So I found another one that was growing wild, and I transplanted that. I don't know if you can see the crazy thorns on them. See that? I don't know if you can see that or not. Those thorns get super big when the tree gets bigger. Those thorns, and they hurt because I've gotten one in the head before. But like I said, I didn't want to. I just wanted a cheap, shade tree. So I didn't really want to spend a lot of money on another tree that's, like I said, not going to produce any fruit. Or any fruit. So. But this will provide shade. They grow pretty fast, so I'm hoping within a couple of years it gets pretty big, and it'll provide us some shade here for our ladies in this coop. Alright, so one last thing I wanted to talk about is right here in the middle of I call it our mini orchard. All of our trees along the fence and around here. We had a really nice Jamaican cherry tree, and I swear those things grow like weeds. We got it the same time that we got the mulberry, so this will be the 4th summer, and it was big. It was probably 20 feet tall already, and the mulberry over there is only probably about 7 feet tall. So it literally does grow like a weed, and they have really nice canopies. They get nice and big, provide a lot of shade, and that's what I was wanting right here in the middle of our mini orchard, I call it. I wanted a nice shade tree to provide some shade for some of these other trees that really don't like the full summer sun in Arizona. So it was nice, it was big, and last summer it just up and died on us. I don't know what happened to it. We tried like crazy to save it, but it didn't work out. So I'm not gonna get another one. As much as I liked it, I'm not gonna get another one because it was a tropical tree, and although it loved the summer heat, it took a lot of water. I mean, a lot. It took the most water of any other of our trees, and even some of these other more tropical type trees. I mean, in the heat of the summer, we were watering it every day, and not just a little bit. I mean, we were giving it probably 10 gallons at least of water every day. So as much as I'm saddened that we really lost it, and I really liked it, but I think I want to put a Shangri-La mulberry right there. I love the leaves on the Shangri-La mulberries. They're huge, and I think they're really cool. And it will get big and provide shade. It will be a nice shade tree. So it doesn't grow as fast as Jamaican cherry does, but it does grow pretty fast still. The mulberries grow pretty fast, so, and they're pretty easy to grow. So that's what we're gonna do, hopefully soon. Okay, so it's been a week or so since I was out here trimming and filmed the content for me pruning the trees and feeding them and all that stuff. I just wanted to let you know that we did get gifted a nice Shangri-La mulberry right here. Very nice. It's got a little bit of fruit on it right now. Not sure if those are gonna hold because, you know, transplant shock or whatever, but yeah, I'm excited about that. We got a nice Shangri-La mulberry. Remember correctly, we put it right there in that area where we had the Jamaican cherry tree where that had died, and so that should create a nice large shade tree. And mulberries grow pretty fast, so hopefully it'll be a decent size within the next year or so, year or two maybe. Then I also wanted to show you real quick this Pakistani mulberry is just loaded with fruit. I'm so excited. So what I did, and I'm hoping that it helps, is that, I don't know if you can see, I put some tanglefoot around the trunk in 2 spots. So if they get past the first one, hopefully they won't get past the second one. And we can get some fruit out of this tree. I don't know if you can, how well you can see all the fruit that is on this tree. Is just awesome. I'm excited. So I'm going to wrap it up, but if you guys have any recipes for any like mulberry jam or anything like that, I would love to try them. Put them in the comments section, and I'll try some of those. Thanks again for watching 70 Yards Tiny Farm and More, and we'll see you on the next video.